Environment and Ethics Officer.
Encourages the development of environmentally and ethically sound working practices in YUSU and the university.
So starting off with the first question, what were some of the various projects that you both have worked on that you think would prepare you for the role?
Okay, so we are both the co-coordinators of the Extinction Rebellion York, which is an environmental direct action group. We set up this group and have been running it for the last few months. We've had multiple actions with Extinction Rebellion York that we've organised, and they've gone well. So that's given us a background of skills in direct action, which I think is really something that we want to push in our campaign. So just yesterday we had an action, and the head of the Labour councillors actually came out and supported our action, which shows that it actually was quite effective, and we're pushing for changes in the council as well. And so this has given us a background, I guess, in direct action and organising for environmental issues.
We've also in a group called Reclaim the Power. We've been organising with them, so we've got an action coming up in Leeds on Friday against HSBC because we're protesting their links to the fracking industry and how they fund that. So again, it's just another group that we're involved in. We devote a lot of our time to these issues, and we've gotten, I think, quite skilled at managing our time and organising for these projects.
Yeah, and in your manifesto you kind of say that there's a link between social and climate justice, and you say that they're undeniably interconnected. Just how are they connected, and how would you go about promoting and engaging students with this knowledge?
Okay, so this is one of the biggest things in our manifesto. So climate breakdown most impacts developing countries and those who are the most marginalised in those countries. So people like women, children, everything like that are the ones being the hardest hit by climate breakdown because of things like droughts and famines and wildfires hit those who have the least amount of ability to respond to these issues and be protected from them. And so we would like to highlight those by things like having talks, connecting with other groups on campus. So we've actually been doing a lot of messaging today, reaching out to social justice groups and liberation groups to see how we can collaborate and how we can interlink our struggles and show that you can't have climate justice without social justice.
Yeah, it's also worth stating that as well that the countries that will suffer the most have also done least to cause the climate catastrophe we're in. It's usually been rich Western countries that have caused most of the historic emissions as compared to developing countries which haven't. I think going back to what we do, we'd also like to talk about greening the curriculum, for example, in terms of making sure that everyone who studies York kind of has some idea of what's happening in terms of the emergency we're in, and also what the causes and effects and interconnections of those things are.
Yeah, that's it. Good. And then, in your manifesto, you go on about how you would pressure the university to stop hosting various corporations such as Shell and HSBC due to them disregarding and actively violating the environment. Some could argue that this is harmful to students looking to gain employment from these companies. I just wanted to get your thoughts on that.
So, it does take away career opportunities with those groups. However, there are so many other places that you can work for that don't put people and planet at risk through their policies. So we're not saying we want careers to stop having careers events, we're just saying we want them to stop hosting companies that are putting the future of these students at risk. So Shell, for example, is an oil company that's actively taking away our future. So why would you want to work for a company that is putting your future at risk through its policies? And we want the university to recognise that and take our futures into account.
Yeah. Yeah. And another question. Some students might read the phrase, declare climate change emergency, as you said in your manifesto, and to be frank, they might think it's a bit intense. How would you go about educating students on why it is so important and why they should get behind this campaign?
So I think it is intense, but frankly, we are in an intense situation. I think it was Greta Thunberg recently said, "I want you to panic," and she's a climate activist, and it's the issue that we are in an emergency. It's our generation that will deal with most of the very bad impacts of climate change if we don't do anything. So I think, how would we educate students on that? I think it goes back to the stuff about greening the curriculum. It goes back to having talks and different forums and stuff to educate people on what is the issue at hand. Because I do think people care about this. I think if they knew how seriously the situation and how dire the situation is, they would understand it and they would feel compelled to act as well. I think that's how we are ultimately inspired to do this, because we realised how bad it was, but we wanted to do stuff. Yeah. And here we are doing stuff, I guess.
Yeah.
We want people to act.
No, yeah, that's good. And then your tagline, I don't think I can say it on air, but quite effective. So how would you be able to ensure that, student voices are heard if you were elected?
So I think this is about getting groups together, getting them all acting and pushing for direct action. So collaborating, working them. I know a lot of people just don't, they care about these issues, they just don't know what to do. So if you can start having direct action, like mass protests and other forms of direct action, interrupting people's lives, making people hear you, so they can't just walk past you and ignore you, they have to listen.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Thank you.